college football has been absolutely wild the first half of the 2024 season, and it's just going to get crazier. One of the things that's starting to heat up, figuratively of course, is the college football coaches hot seat. I want to dive into that today and see what coaches are really on the hot seat and in danger of losing their jobs at the end of the season or even beforehand. Honorable mention is Kalen DeBoer, and I know, they're just the number one team in the country. They beat Georgia. It's his first year, but it's Alabama, and those fans are not going to accept losing to Vanderbilt. And if more losses like that start to pile up over the course of his tenure, or if they lose another 2 or 3 games this year somehow, he could be in some serious trouble sooner rather than later. At number 10, we have Sam Pittman from Arkansas, and Sam Pittman has been on the hot seat for a while now, and I think things are cooling off a little bit because of that win against Tennessee this past weekend. Obviously, he's 27-27 during his tenure there. Bobby Petrino hire seems to be working somehow, some way. But I think that Sam Pittman, if they don't make a bowl this year, he is in serious trouble. They're trending in a good direction right now, and they look a lot better than they were last year. But they still need to keep improving and still need to prove that they're competitive in the SEC. Otherwise, he's in some serious trouble. At number 9, we have Ryan Walters of Purdue. He's in his second season there, but he's only 5-12, including 1-4 this season. And based on the rest of their schedule, it's tough to see any other wins coming their way. If they win one game this year, it's going to be tough for Purdue to justify giving him this new look Big Ten with all this money. He seemed like a questionable hire at the time just because it's a huge jump from Illinois' defensive coordinator to Purdue's head coach. And I think he's just a little bit in over his head here. Solid defensive coordinator, but I don't think he's a Big Ten head coach. At number 8 is a guy who is nowhere near this list coming into the season. It's Mike Norvell of Florida State. They are just 1-5 this season after being undefeated in the regular season last year and winning the ACC title. Mike Norvell is also, more jarringly, only 2-13 at Florida State without Jordan Travis, which is abysmal. And I think that Mike Norvell could be in serious trouble if they're a 3 or under win team this year. Keep an eye on Mike Norvell at Florida State because that could get dicey soon. At number 7 is Scott Satterfield of Cincinnati, who is 6-11 in his season and a half there so far. And this is a hire that made absolutely no sense to me at the time. Coming off the Luke Fickell era, the best they could do was the coach that Louisville was trying to fire, Scott Satterfield, who had issues recruiting the area, which was his big downfall at Louisville. And I just don't get why Cincinnati hired him. He's not a great coach. He hasn't been doing a great job at Cincinnati, and they're a lot worse than they were in the Luke Fickell era. If they make a bowl game this year, he's absolutely safe. But 4 or less wins, which means only one more win the rest of the season, which could happen, and I think probably will happen, and they could be in some serious trouble. Watch out for Scott Satterfield's situation in Cincinnati. Not a good hire. At number 6, getting into the group of 5, is Stan Drayton from Temple. And this is a hire that on paper made a little bit of sense. The best Temple could do at the time. He was Texas's assistant head coach. He had experience coaching in Philadelphia, but it's just not worked out. He's only 7-23 in his tenure there and 1-5 this season for Temple. And I just don't see things getting better in Philadelphia with Stan Drayton as the head coach of Temple. Temple was a former power conference football program when they were in the Big East, and now they're the doormat of the American, which is a group of 5 conference. And I think Temple needs some serious change just through the entire athletic department if they're going to get any better. And Stan Drayton's not going to be the man to lead them there, I don't think. At number 5 is Sonny Cumbie of Louisiana Tech, who is 7-21 in his time there. And this is a classic case of the grass isn't always greener. Obviously, Louisiana Tech fired Skip Holtz, who was a successful coach for them, because they wanted more than what Skip Holtz was providing after a couple underperforming seasons. And Sonny Cumbie has not been better at all. He's been significantly worse than what Skip Holtz was, and it just seems like this marriage is coming to an end very, very soon. At number 4 is Will Hall of Southern Miss, and this is the one that I would probably put the most money on opening up because things have just been bad there. Fans are already making posts about who should replace him at Southern Miss. It's that bad. He's 14-28 in his time there, and outside of that bowl game, maybe their first year in the Sun Belt, things have been really, really bad for Southern Miss. This one I think is going to open without a doubt unless things miraculously turn around, but I don't see that happening for Southern Miss and for Will Hall. At number 3 is Mack Brown of UNC, and I think this one's almost certain to open as well. He's 73 years old. I think they're going to force him to retire. They were never super competitive, even with Drake May there, who is a great quarterback prospect. And I just think that North Carolina wants to strive to be a playoff team, and instead they're going backwards under Mack Brown, who again is 73 years old. I don't see them keeping him around any longer. Mack Brown, congrats on a great career, but it's just about time to hang him up. At number 2 is Dave Aranda of Baylor, and the days of that 2021 12-2 season where they won the Sugar Bowl are long gone. Baylor has not been very good recently, and I think Dave Aranda just can't recruit and can't compete at the Power 5 level. He's a solid coordinator, but as a head coach, he can't lead a program at this level. Baylor is going to open up for sure. He's only 25-29 in his tenure here at Baylor, and again, that's with that 12-2 season. So outside of that, things have been really, really bleak and trending downwards. With his own guys in here now, things are not going very well, and it seems like Baylor is going to have an opening this offseason. At number 1 is Billy Napier of Florida, and the Billy Napier era in Florida is coming to an end really soon, and I'd be surprised if he makes it to the end of the season. He's 14-16 in his time there, and unless he rattles off some big marquee wins the rest of the season with this tough, backloaded schedule, it's going to be tough to justify him keeping his job. The only win I see them getting the rest of the season is Florida State, who is even more dysfunctional and a mess than Florida right now, and it just seems like Billy Napier is not the man for the job to get them turned around. What do you guys think? Who else do you see on the hot seat? Let me know in the comments.